Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatye Namaha. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om. Our Puja Gurudev, Swami Chinmayananda, was one of the greatest propounders of Advaita Vedanta. Vedanta is the highest knowledge revealed by Veda Mata herself. In the Upanishads of the Vedas, it is revealed to us the innate truth behind this entire universe and the truth of our own identity, what we truly are inside. But these truths can be so profound and so difficult to understand that throughout history, the Mahatmas, the great ones, out of compassion, have written commentaries in order to help us understand this knowledge. One such commentator, who is deeply revered by even the most prolific masters, was called Bhagwan Adi Shankaracharya. Bhagwan Shankara wrote many commentaries on Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, so many things. And as we studied these commentaries, these bhashyas in India, I started to notice certain things. One of the things I noticed was that there was one word that kept coming. The word Hridaya, or Hridi. It means heart. And this word heart kept showing up in Bhagwan Shankaracharyaji's bhashyas. In Bhagavad Gita, I would see it, in Upanishads, all over. And consistently, Bhagwan Shankara would translate that word heart as intellect. He would say Hridi, the intellect, acts in this way. And we would all be so confused. You know, we had studied Sanskrit vocabulary. We know this word Hridaya means heart. But how could Bhagwan make such a mistake and say intellect instead? And then we thought, no, but Shankaracharyaji's intellect was so pure, so bright and brilliant. We cannot possibly think he's making a mistake. So the question is then, what are we missing? What is it about this word heart that Bhagwan Shankara keeps translating it as intellect? And so we thought, and eventually one day, one thought came as to what could be the reason. We thought maybe it's because the beauty of my heart must invariably be intertwined and reflected in the depth of my intellections. Meaning, we see this world through our eyes. We analyze it in our mind and intellect, and through that mindset, we perceive the world around us. But when we begin to see with our heart, instead of just through our eyes only, when we begin to perceive the world at a different level, utilizing our heart also to see purity and beauty, then a whole new world of beauty opens itself up, reveals itself to us. And there's one beautiful story that Puja Gurudev also gives. And he gave the story to his Bal Vihar teachers about this same vision of seeing through your heart, not only through your eyes. And so I thought today we'd share the story that Gurudev gave to his Bal Vihar teacher so many years ago. Now we share it with the students also, so that we can continue passing on this beautiful knowledge as our gurus, the parampara, has passed to us. So we'll read the story which Puja Gurudev had given. So the story begins. I had a friend who was a great artist. One day I saw him standing on the roadside looking at a stone which had no shape. I went up and asked him, "What are you doing?" It was one of the greatest mistakes I made because he immediately invited me to give him a hand lifting it. Well, with whatever little effort I could muster, we both started lifting. Luckily, others who were standing around came and helped us. We lifted laboriously that large piece of stone and moved slowly with it to his studio. And in his studio, he placed it carefully in a particular place. He turned the stone round in several directions, here, there, and finally he fixed it in a certain way. And there, afterwards, he just looked at us as though we were no longer needed. So we left, and for 2, 3, 4 days, I did not meet him, for he did not come out of his room. The 5th day, I went there just to see what was happening. I found him covered in dust and the whole studio full of stone chips he had chiseled off of that big rock. He was standing there with his hammer and chisel, chipping away at that stone. And from that, he had brought out of it the most beautiful, attractive, shining, and enchanting form of Krishna. He was not even conscious that I had entered the room and was watching over his shoulders. In sheer appreciation of the beauty that he had created and with best intentions, I congratulated him spontaneously. "What a beautiful Krishna you have created," I said. The fellow, red-eyed for want of sleep and probably food also for the past 3 days, he turned with his hammer in hand and said, "You come into this sacred place and you dare accuse me that I have created a beautiful form?" That form was already in that shapeless stone. All I did was chip away the rough stone edges that was concealing the beauty of that form. And that Krishna, who was already there, was brought out vividly now for you to see. I saw this Krishna even when that stone was lying there at the roadside. See the vision of this artist. When he looked at that stone, the vision through his heart instead of just what his physical eyes could see. Gurudev says that artist had the vision to see the beauty in that which you and I rejected as ugly. So too, Gurudev concluded, the teachers must have the vision to see the beauty inherent in every student. But now, our students also must have that vision to see that Bhagavan even in their teachers as they teach you good things. See, just like Bhagavan, our teachers only want what's best for us. And when we open our hearts to see this, we begin looking with our heart instead of just through our eyes. And we can come to recognize these beautiful things in the world around us. You see, the secret to everything we interact with in this world is in the mental attitude with which we perceive it. Meaning, don't try to change the view outside. Change the vision inside. And when we can do this, then even each of us can see that Krishna in every rock, in every animal, and in every person around us. This is the vision of truth, of beauty that can engulf us and surround us if we were to open our hearts and see with our hearts instead of just the cold physical eyes. And this is what Gurudev was trying to point out to us through this story. In reverence to these gurus, let us try to raise our vision now to this level and invoke our heart when we see and perceive what is around us. May this be our vision now. Hari Om. Om Shri Chinmaya Satgurave Namaha.